Hey kids, looking at camera one. I'm sorry, I'm all confused today with the fancy 3-camera setup. I love it. Chris Buganani behind the scenes hooking us up for the day, and who knows what may happen down the road. This is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We are happy to have you along on what has turned out to be, in my opinion, a perfect Tuesday afternoon. I like it when there's a little bit of sunshine, little bit of a breeze, not the wind that we've had for a few days, and not the bright burning sunshine. I love temperatures in the the upper 60s, low 70s, where again a little overcast, a little sunny. That's my kind of weather. Just a little bit of a breeze going. So I am very happy today.
But you're a husky guy. I mean, imagine being my size, how skinny and svelte I am. It gets really, the wind just goes right through me. You know that.
You know what? I actually prefer the Cougars over the Huskies, to be honest with you. If we're talking Pac-12 football, you're talking. Oh, I see, Husky. Huskies. I'll take that description these days.
I don't want to say anything to you, but
you could say something to me.
I am leaving town for a week, so
yeah.
But I don't know if you saw the weather in Chicago, which we normally get tomorrow. Enjoy your day tomorrow while I'm in sunbathing. Yes. Yeah.
No, I'm well aware of what is coming. So yes, I'm living in the now, man.
Yes, a beautiful day, sunny day. Sort of a little cold, a little breezy, but this is pretty nice, man.
I never did get around to watching the Penguins. How did they end up? Obviously, beat the Flyers. I know they're up 1-0. What ended up 3 or 4-0 on Thursday night. I turned it off after the first 2 periods. They obviously had it in control. I didn't see how badly did they end up winning that game?
Man, you brought it up. You're a glutton for punishment, buddy. I got to give it to the boys.
Here's a little
backstory.
I pretty rarely talk. I really rarely, and when I do, it's all in fun, but I rarely trash talk, because this is what happens every time I trash talk during a game.
True.
I mean, I am not exaggerating here. 100% of the time, if I give grief to somebody I know about the team I'm rooting for beating the team they're rooting for during the game, I don't care. It could be a 56-0 score. And I'm telling you, the team that I'm going to be ragging on is going to come back and win it 63-56. Never seen anything like it. 9 touchdowns in 1 quarter of football. But I'm telling you, so I give you a little bit. I'm like, man, Crosby, he really does have. And from that point on, it is the Flyers game.
So
I will say,
I watched the Flyers broadcast,
yep.
And I know obviously you weren't doing that.
No,
but the top 5 goal scorers in the history of the NHL versus the Philadelphia Flyers: Mario Lemieux, Brian Trottier, Jaromir Jagr, Sidney Crosby, and somebody else. I'm like, so pretty much all the Penguins. Trottier, Jagr, Lemieux, and Crosby all played for the Pens at one point.
Yeah.
And again, I hate him. I can't stand him. But if he was in the black and orange, he'd be my favorite player. So that's just how it is. That's how all great players are.
Yeah. Well,
and then you learn to respect him over the years. He doesn't cry nearly as much as he used to. That's why people don't get so upset with him anymore, I don't think. Malkin, he's still a stick man. He looks like Dr. Hook out there from Slapshot, carving people up. But was it? I mean, to go back to that, we'll talk about it. And they're unbelievable. I don't know if the Penguins just played down to the Flyers, which it's been like their Achilles heel.
Penguins are on a stretch right now where they're I mean, they played down to the Sabres both games, got away with it on Saturday, and then Sunday was just a tough watch. That's as bad as they've looked. I mean, I wasn't thrilled with the loss of the Flyers, but I didn't think the Penguins played awful. That game Sunday was just. And I don't think it was an effort thing. I had a couple of people, man. It was just a poor game. I'm not sure. I thought it was a lack of effort or anything. It just they just looked out of sorts, and the Sabres were hungry for it. I think the Sabres rightfully gained some confidence from Saturday's game, and felt like they were owed one, and they went out and put it on the Penguins. So a little bit of concern, not panic or crazy concern, but this has not been a great week here for the Penguins in terms of the way the Penguins are playing. The Pirates, on the other hand, look out, baby.
Your boys.
I
told Booch, and you weren't here yet. I said, I'm starting to worry the Pirates might have more wins than the Phillies right now.
Yeah, they are playing well at the moment. I will say here's my take on it, and I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see the Pirates be the surprise of Major League Baseball and get into the playoffs and whatever this season. What it feels like to me is you have a bunch of players, and actually you've seen this with the Penguins with the injuries. There is something to be said for being young and hungry, right? And I do think the Pirates have a lot of guys that are, fighting for roster spots, fighting for a future in Major League Baseball, whether it's with the Pirates or elsewhere, but they're wanting to make, their presence felt and their game known. But what it feels like to me a little bit, especially with the pitching staff, is, again, you have a lot of guys that the opponents that they're facing right now have not seen much or any of.
Yep.
I do think this eventually catches up with the Pirates. I do think you're going to see, the normal second half swoon. And I don't know how long, that you're going to see the Pirates winning the series against good teams. And they've won a couple of series against good teams, or at least presumed to be good teams. Again, we'll see how the entire season plays out. But, I like that Milwaukee squad, and I think, you take advantage of the Cubs while you have them and all of that. So we'll see. They are doing, I will say to this point, and it's very early, this is some of the best base running I've seen the Pirates have, which isn't saying much because, there are, my son's in T-ball now at almost 6, and I've seen better.
They know how to run the ball.
Yeah, I've seen better base running from T-ball teams than the Pirates the last few years. So, there's a low bar here, I'll admit, but it does feel like there's a better understanding or maybe a better appreciation of the fundamentals of the game with the team, at least through the early part of this season. So, the glass half full me will say that is good. That's a good foundation to build on. I still think when it's all said and done, at the end of the year, you're going to be looking at the Pirates as the worst team.
I got a question for you, Ironhead. I heard one over the weekend, which was sort of alarming to me because being a former Pirate is, how old do you think Andrew McCutchen is?
33.
Yeah, 34.
34.
I mean, the way he talks, the way they talk about him, he's like the ancient old man. He's like 46 years old. It's just, do you not, right? Am I wrong?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Exactly. He's
but I feel like
that's,
I feel like in sports, though, that's right. Once you get into the 30s, it's like, whoa, man. I don't know. I've thought that for years with a bunch of different players. It's like, well, yeah, he's a veteran, but 30.
He's 34, so he's like 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, obviously. 3 years younger than me. I mean,
I was waiting to see if you caught on to that.
Oh, I caught it.
I was just, I couldn't believe when he said he was 36 or 34. And then, again, talking with Booch, so the Philadelphia Phillies center field position is 0 for the last 27.
Is that right?
That's how you get the job done, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think McCutchen's playing left, and they move him over to play center for a game or two, and he went over, and it's just bad. Not good.
All right, we're going to spend the rest of the program. I want to break down play-by-play the blue-white game on Saturday, Goon, because, man.
All the stuff we got out of that, it was amazing. Could not believe it.
I listened to a little bit of we were running around, and I had a couple people text me, "Are you up there?" I'm like, I'm not, and truthfully, I don't even feel. There was a time where I would have felt like I was missing something. I just, I don't. I listened to it again. I listened to probably about 25 minutes, give or take 5, on Saturday, and Steve and Jack were doing a fine job as always. It's just this year even more so than usual. I just don't know that you glean anything meaningful from the game. I don't know that you ever do, but the fact that it wasn't the last practice of the spring, the fact that the fans again weren't there by and large. I understand the young kids were up there, and what was it, 7,500 or thereabouts worked their way into the stadium for the scrimmage, and they'll do another one on Friday, right? To wrap things up for the seniors,
freshmen, and this one's for the seniors. Yeah. They just announced today that it's going to be all the seniors, the ones that were on campus and the ones who were taking classes off campus. So, I don't know. Like I told you before, I don't know of any other place in the world where people are clamoring. 110,000 people are clamoring to go watch a practice, and that's all it's going to be. They're not going to show anything whatsoever. So I don't know. Hey, more power to them, and I guess they really missed it. But you know what I miss. Obviously, it's not the in-stadium shenanigans that goes on. It's the outside of the stadium shenanigans and the parking lots that I missed. And I'm owed one. I'm owed a season. It's going to be made up to me somehow.
Somehow, some way, someday.
Yeah.
I do think. I do think some of the young kids obviously had good games, and I think a little confidence booster here and there does not hurt anything. Sean Clifford. Let's just wait and see. For me, it's just going to be let's wait and see how everything comes together in the fall. I'm not worked up one way or the other about how anybody's looking in one particular practice, especially in the spring. But I think again, a good. It felt like a good foundation and a good starting place anyway for the team as it tries to build toward hopefully a significant rebound season here in 2021.
I go back to last season, and again, I just want to wash it off the boards and just get rid of it completely because it was just such a screwed up season for everything. But I just knowing what that stadium was like to play on in, and when there's no people in the stands, and having to play Ohio State, Maryland, all these schools last year in an empty stadium, it just has to. I mean, even if you put 10,000 people on that stadium like they did on Saturday, it had to have been such a difference for the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, God, I just can't imagine just playing in front of nobody. I mean, literally nobody. And what they had to do last year, more power to them. Just put it past us and move on. Let's get it going. I mean, I know that they're ready for it. You can tell by the players. I mean, they were excited to be out there in front of people again.
Yeah.
And the kids were excited to be out there to be actually students again. It's like we're slowly getting back to what the way of the world, the way of our lives.
Yep. Yeah. No, and I think hopefully we'll get to the point where by the time the fall rolls around, we are able to see packed stadiums and we'll see how everything develops. But I
can't wait to harass another team's bus pulling up. I just missed that.
It's the little things.
I missed the little stuff. Seeing them practicing on Friday and flipping them the bird. Can I go into Goon story?
Yeah, please do.
All right. So what was it? 2006, I think. I don't think we played Ohio. Yeah, Ohio State 2005 was at home. So 2006 we're out there, and it was a tough game. It was a bad game. I think Morelli threw 2 interceptions late in the game that got returned for pick sixes. So it was the game that Joe was ill, and it was the run across the field.
Yep.
Running back across the field in different pants. What's going on there? Put 2 and 2 together. He was food poisoned, but I remember leaving there, and I talk about fans and stuff like that. And Ohio State has a tradition where some of their fans, they moon the opposing team when they drive out of town. And I remember I think I was on bus 3, which was like the staff and all that stuff. So I just sat there and I said, you know what? I'm going to ride home. Drop me off here. I'm going to beat the living crap out of these 4 guys real quick. And I was like, if the old man stood up and said, Connor, get out there, take care of this. I'd run down. I'd have beat the living tar out of those guys. I was so mad at the end of that game and how they acted and this and that. It was a close game, but they're acting like it was. And I was just like, I I really wanted to jump off the bus at that point, and I just said, you know what, I could definitely find a ride home. Just let me out. If you want to wait 10 minutes, so be it. But give me 10 minutes. I'm going to take care of these guys real quick. So there's your Goon story for the day. I'm very upset, Goon, after a bad loss to Ohio State. But I miss yelling and waving at other teams bye-bye and whatnot. I miss game day Saturdays, man. I really do.
Yeah. No, there's nothing like a college football Saturday when your team, whatever team you're rooting for, is home, and you get the packed stadium and all of the pregame and postgame festivities. It's something
we're
special.
Obviously completely spoiled with our fan base,
for sure,
1,000,000%. So I remember talking to guys who played at smaller schools, and they're just like, it's just unbelievable. And you sort of take it for granted after a little bit, but when you're away and you come back and you miss it for a while, you really, really appreciate it. So, I think about the 2005 Ohio State game when, literally they had to have people come in and say, you cannot do that zombie dance anymore with the jumping up and down because the stadium is going to be compromised and may crash. I remember hearing that, and I'm like, dude, because I was, obviously gone for a while. I had been gone for 8 years, so I hadn't gone to a Penn State game since. And in that 8 years, where there was the 4 of the 5 losing seasons, so I remember the fans, they were starving to be in there and rooting their team on and going crazy and yelling and screaming. Yep. And they finally got a good team, and it was amazing. I just have that same feeling for next year. It's going to be from minute one, it's going to be it's going to be just an unbelievable atmosphere next year because people miss it so much.
Yeah. No, for sure. It is. It's hard to describe how it galvanizes. We keep talking about how how our society seems so divided in so many different ways, and it's just. It is one of those things that, at least for the moment, yep. When you're in there, it just feels galvanizing, where you're all just in it for the. Hopefully an enjoyable experience and, rooting your team on yes. and hopefully just
3 or 4 years ago when
getting away from so-called reality for just a little bit.
Michigan had to call a timeout in the first play of the game because they couldn't hear.
Yep.
That is awesome. Yeah, everybody knows the play on Thursday, so what the first play of the game is. You still got to call to the huddle. You still got to call a cadence. They didn't hear it, and they had to call a timeout. That was awesome. I believe that's the way next season is going to be every freaking game. Oh, man. Even the fourth one in a row at home. Is your liver going to be all right next year?
We'll see.
Mine's already called in sick for one of those games.
It's not going to be easy. I'm not going to lie. Little training over the summer, I think, is going to be necessary in order to prepare
these
properly.
Bars and restaurants, they go 2 years without a game, then they're going to have 4 home in a row.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Welcome back to reality.
Yeah, in a big way.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the NFL draft when we come back. I also want to get into a situation that we're a society that I swear to you, it just likes to create problems where really none existed. And I do want to kick around the whole transgender issue with scholastic athletics in particular. And then did you see the story, and I want to get her name right, Kirsten Hennie, the Virginia Tech soccer player who is suing. And again, I am one of those crazy people that I want to wait and hear all of the, I'm not jumping on board with anything anymore, especially when you're only getting one side. And to this point,
sure,
you're only getting her side of it. But she has filed a lawsuit against Virginia Tech, claiming that the head coach benched her and basically harassed her into quitting over her politics, and in particular her decision to not kneel for the national anthem. And just let that sink in for those of us that are old school and came up in the 70s and 80s. The idea that a player would be ostracized for standing and respecting the national anthem is it's a tough one for some of us to wrap our minds around. But we'll kick that around as we continue with the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show right after this.
Lion Country Kia is offering exceptional deals on your new Kia during Kia's Command the Season event.
We have a nice selection on the 2021 Kia Sportage with various options and prices as low as $26,800, saving you $3,000. Or if you demand big power and towing capacity, slip into one of the 2021 Kia Sorrentos available on our lot, starting at $32,680.
Discover why Kia drivers throughout the area come to Lion Country Kia or visit online at lioncountrykia.com.
Quaker Steak and Lube is throwing open the garage doors and setting up the umbrellas. It's patio season. Come enjoy great food, drinks, and fun in the sun. There's always something happening at Quaker Steak and Lube, but we're really amping up our event calendars for our favorite time of year. Visit thelube.com to find out what's happening at your local Lube this season. Lunch, happy hour, dinner, or late night, indoors or outside, at Quaker Steak and Lube, you'll always find big flavors, friendly faces, and lots of fun.
I'm here with Keith, Goon, Conlon, and you've got a little trip you're cooking up for August. Tell us about it.
So we got 4 or 5 ex-football players, Shane Conlon, myself, Troy Drayton, Justin Kupakis, and Mike Marty. We're going to go down to Barbados, leave from different airports, 5 days, 4 nights. We've got to get our skills ready to go for the football season, so what better way to do it than down in Barbados?
People come along on this trip. What are they going to be doing down there?
Very laid-back atmosphere. We're going to have golfing trips, fishing trips, and then at night, the days are very, very chill, and then at nighttime there'll be cocktail parties and, old viewings of old football games from Penn State. You might be watching the 87 Fiesta Bowl, the 95 Rose Bowl, a private viewing for all the people who are on the trip of Saving Your Roar, which is the 2012 team documentary. So the biggest thing is that it's 100% refundable. LionsLegendsTravels.com. Everything is on there. It's $19.95 a person. There's multiple airports, so check in.
Good stuff, Goon. Lions Legends Travel. Check it out.
He's not getting that car in there.
No, sir.
Hey, look at these two troublemakers.
Johnny, how are you?
Wicked car, is that new?
Yeah, it's a Sonata. Let me park it.
Oh, you're not fitting your car in there.
Chris, stop being a smarty pants, all right? Look who's got Smart Park. Even Bruiser can park it. Just hit the clicker. I can park it anywhere.
Beaver Stadium?
Parked it.
Even the Jordan Center?
Parked it.
Even Medler Field?
Even Bruiser parked it.
Hey, you can't park there.
He's got Smart Park!
Wicked smart.
Blaze Alexander Hyundai. It's wicked smart.
We welcome you back into the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show on this Tuesday afternoon. We're at Quaker Steak and Lube, our home since the inception of the show, and we were very appreciative of General Manager Jeff Powers and all of the good folks here at Quaker Steak and Lube for sticking with us through some very difficult times, and we certainly encourage you to stick with Quaker Steak and Lube because, boy, I'm telling you, that first of all, the food really is terrific, and just great variety down here. I keep getting into ruts where I do the steak salad repeatedly for weeks, and then I go back to the wings or the chicken tenders for weeks, and I'm like, oh yeah, but those burgers are good. And I get onto the burgers. I'm just telling you, you really can't go wrong with the food. But the service and the people here are really what stands out, and it's just do right by them and all of the folks again in the local community that are trying to get back on their feet and hopefully into some more normal times here as the summer progresses. But thank you, all of our sponsors. Yes, Lion Country Kia has been phenomenal, obviously since the get-go as well. Blaze Alexander, can't say enough about Johnny.
Conlon's family got 2 cars out of, or sorry, 3 cars this weekend were purchased between our dual auto sponsors.
Yeah.
Both my brother-in-laws came down here and each got a new car, and then my wife was there. I was like, hey,
and again,
that car looks pretty good. So,
and they do it right. They know their stuff. They're up front with you. They they take care of it. There's reasons that people keep going back. Quaker Steak and Lube, the Lion Country Kia, it's Blaze Alexander, and it really is because, the people are just good, trustworthy people, and there's a lot to be said for that. Getting harder and harder to find good, trustworthy people in the media, dear Goon. And it's one thing, I was talking with a buddy of mine who's in the radio medium as well. And, when we were coming through, back in the day, when we took journalism classes, right, it was that you did not publish something unless you had it verified independently by at least two credible sources. And obviously, it was up to you to determine credible. But it was a big deal if you published something that was not right.
Your name is tarnished.
And I'm just, a little bit of an aside here from sports, but I feel like it started, and I may be wrong about this, it feels to me like it started in sports where, folks wanted to be wow, this guy's going to commit here. And listen, at the end of the day, does it really matter if you're getting that wrong? If it's, I guess it depends how you're reporting it. If you're reporting it as a fact that this kid is committed to Penn State when he hasn't committed, that's a problem. But in the overall scheme of things, okay, whether an 18-year-old kid is actually going to this college or that college, not that big of a deal.
Ironhead's a heavy lean towards Penn State.
We are seeing some real problems right now throughout the media, and it includes the sports media, where we're getting stories just absolutely wrong. And the narrative, and I'm not going to go through the Sandusky thing, but that's a great example of how hook, line, and sinker the media bought into an early narrative, and there are people that will never re-examine what happened because in their minds they know, well, this was reported, this is what had to have happened. Yeah. And the more, having gone through that and now having gone back and kind of peeled through with John Ziegler and some others what actually happened there, John Snedden's been very helpful there. Boy, I'm starting to see more and more why so many people are, because I'll tell you, when 60 Minutes used to do their pieces, right, it was like, oh yeah, that person doesn't want to go on 60 Minutes because they're guilty. No, they don't want to go on 60 Minutes because they know they're going to be portrayed as guilty no matter what the hell they give them. Right? And you start to see how easily stories can be manipulated. And again, I'm not going to get into a big political discussion here, but you are seeing lots of examples in the quote-unquote real news media where, again, stuff is just flat out made up and presented as fact, and it becomes very difficult, even when the truth is learned, in some cases weeks, months, years later, and verified that, nope, that original narrative was false. It is virtually impossible to get the original narrative overturned in the minds of many, and I think the minds of the majority of folks. And it's just, it is irresponsible. And Aaron Donald is the latest example where we had people just absolutely jumping on a false narrative because a lawsuit had been filed, and it's like, well, look at what this guy did. No, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. And the guy that, if you haven't been following it and you heard the initial story, which is, I think, what happens way too often in our world, it's like, well, no, I heard about that case. I'm not going to read the follow-up. I already heard about that.
I saw a picture.
Well, the follow-up is that Aaron Donald actually wasn't the guy that gave the individual the black eyes and beat the living snot out of him. What Aaron Donald did was save the guy from the guy who was beating him up, and the guy. Everybody agrees now that is the accurate story. Yes. All involved. There,
between the three of us, only two of us had known that narrative was changed.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it's just disheartening. So it is in that light. And, I mean, we go back, this goes back, a friend of ours, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus because it's irrelevant years later, but when Richard Jewell got arrested, I was doing a sports talk show at Damon's, and off the air, I was talking to somebody down there. I'm like, man, everybody's like rushing to judge me. He goes, oh no, the FBI doesn't pick up unless that they have you. Like they have this guy dead to rights. I'm like, well, I still think the legal process should play out. And of course, we all know well, hopefully by now we all know that they completely got that wrong. And again, this guy's life was destroyed over that.
And the newest one is Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, and so Deshaun Watson. But I want to bring up an example just because, again, what happens too often, and I think we're all guilty of it to a certain degree, right? If somebody says something that fits my political ideology, or those Ohio State fans are jerks. Here's what an Ohio State fan. And a Penn State fans are jerks. Here's what a Penn State fan. Well, I want to hear the story about the Penn State fan before I judge. Right? You want to jump on whatever it may be, what you think or what your preconceived notion might be. And with the Aaron Donald situation, again, there were a number of people, this guy is, can't believe he would do this, and how would you do this when you're this rich and famous, and what a jerk, this guy needs to be banned from the league forever. But no, he doesn't. He needs to be lauded as the hero that he is what actually needs to happen there. So in that background, even though this fits a social narrative that I would love for this story to be accurate, I have no idea. I don't know any of the individuals involved at all. So I have no idea if this is a player who is drumming up something because she, didn't want to do the wind sprints and was tired of playing and is looking for a great story. And again, you can get about half of the country on your side by telling one story or another, right? So the story, if you haven't heard it, there's a former soccer player at Virginia Tech, and this story is from, oh my gosh, what is this? 10 News in New River Valley, Virginia. So Kirsten Hennie filed a federal lawsuit against Charles Adair, Chugger Adair, the head coach of Virginia Tech, claiming that because she refused to kneel for the national anthem, he benched her, subjected her to repeated verbal abuse, and forced her off the team. And the lawsuit is pretty extensive. And again, I'm just telling you, anytime I'm getting only one side of a story, and to this point, and again, because everybody is lawyered up, and rightfully so, but so Virginia Tech officials and the coach not talking. And so you get one side, and I just, again, not knowing any of the individuals involved, I have no idea what the actual politics of any of these folks are. But if this is true, the general gist of this story is true. And again, I don't think a player should, just so we're clear, because going back to Colin Kaepernick, I don't think your reaction, we live in a free country, or at least, when I was growing up, it was truly free. Like you actually did have freedom of speech. People didn't question the Second Amendment. I mean, there was a real sense of freedom and individual, pursuit. You could live the life you chose to a very large degree. And that's not to say, there's circumstances that play into it. Everybody wants to live the rich and famous life. I get it. But, I mean, you can pursue any avenue you want in terms of, hey, this is the livelihood I want to try to make my life at, and you can go do whatever you feel you need to do to pursue that. And so I don't want politics either way to play a role when it comes to especially college athletics. I don't want it in any athletics, but college athletics and college campuses ought to be a place, in my crazy, humble opinion, where you actually exchange ideas, wild, radical ideas, right? I mean, 18 to 22-year-olds, that's where your mind should be exploring everything that's out there. You should be reading the most heinous, hideous stuff, vile stuff, that expose yourself to it. Let yourself know that, man, this crap is out there. There is a history of horrendous things happening in the world. And open yourself to the fact that, man, there are just amazing, wonderful things that have happened and are happening. Human beings that it's truly unreal how heroic that they have been. Expose yourself to all of it. Expose yourself to the entire political spectrum, to all that is out there, and then again figure out what makes sense to you.
Make a logical decision.
What works for you. But man, we had some crazy debates when I was in college, and I mean, knock them down, drag them out. You are out of your mind stuff, and then we genuinely we would get into real serious political discussions, and then we would go drink some beers and laugh things off, and it was not a problem. Again, I don't want people. Do I think you should stand and be respectful during the national anthem? Yes, I do. Do I think if somebody on your team doesn't do that they should be ostracized? Or no, I think you should reach out. Hey, what's going on here? Why are we doing this? Is it, and understand the point of view. You can agree to disagree completely on a particular issue, and it's okay. Again, in a free society, you ought to be able to, it's the old, I might not like what you say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. And again, I don't like that people are kneeling during the national anthem, but they absolutely have the right to do it. I can't stand the fact that people would actually want to burn the American flag. I don't think anybody should be facing repercussions in terms of playing time or anything with the jobs or anything like that as a result of that. And again, this is just my take on it. But this is especially crazy to me that you're going to take issue with somebody standing and respecting the flag of the country that they are playing in, that is giving them the freedom to pursue their dreams of playing college soccer. There are countries where you don't get to choose what sport or what school you go to. That is chosen for you, kids. And so that is just crazy to me, if true. And again, I don't. All I know is what's being reported, that the lawsuit that's been filed and what's reported in the lawsuit. I truly just have zero idea. It could be all 100% accurate, and she's giving you the whole story, or it could be cherry picked, or it could be completely made up. I have no idea. They'll sort that out through the court system and the process. But even if this turns out to be completely false, right? It feels like this is something that could happen in today's world, and the fact that this story even has the scent of credibility is in and of itself incredible to me, because again, I think 10 years ago that you would have absolutely laughed yourself silly at the very prospect of a story like this being published, right? It just would be insane.
What if it was the shoe was on the other foot, and it was she got kicked off the team? She was accusing the coach of kicking off the team for kneeling. Then it would be the media would be 10 times more scrutinized this whole situation. So again, that's where we're at in this society. You literally got me thinking when you said it just really started about hey, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong as long as you're the first, and that's completely insane. But it goes back to recruiting. You're exactly right in the sports world.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're heavy leaning. I mean, and I do not want to get political. You know that. You don't like to get political. It's go back 10,
you can't help
3 elections ago when they would not say who won that election because it was too close, and no one was worried about it. And then now it's like they're literally jumping through hoops to try and make the announcement to be first. It's like, why can't we? Why are we listening to the news anyway? Yeah. First of all, why are they the ones delivering the results? It's just insane to me.
Yeah, and along those lines, I do want to touch on the because it's creeping in everywhere, the discussion, and it's inevitable with the transgender individuals competing in sports, and here is the issue, and the fact that we can't just come to peace with this is, I think, in and of itself problematic.
All right, so I have questions for you before you even go this route.
Yep.
Okay. Me and my wife had this conversation where I said, I don't believe in it. And she said, it's not like a dude just like gets cut from the man's team and says, okay, I'm a girl now. But you have to live a lifestyle, correct? You have to be living that? Or
so this is the issue. Well, this is one of the issues. Yes, a lot of the people that we're talking about here are living the lifestyle.
They are living.
Well, once you change the rules, right? I mean,
will the rules say anybody can do it?
Well, yes.
Oh,
well, I mean, how else do you do it? You can't. How are you going to determine somebody's commitment to? I mean, how would you do that? I can't determine your commitment to any lifestyle, right?
Are you living their life as a female, right? That's what me and Carrie's argument was. It's like, if that's what they're doing, then I understand.
But even then, here's the problem. We have got to. The fact that we can't just all recognize and understand that there are physiological differences between men and women, right? There is a reason, for example, in gymnastics, that the men do the still rings and the women do the vault and the
uneven bars.
We are built differently. There are different skill sets. Now, are there extremely flexible men? Yes. By and large, right, the most flexible of women are more flexible than the most flexible of men. And certainly when it comes to strength and power, speed, right? I mean, it's just a fact. It doesn't mean that you can't. The fastest woman in the world can beat a whole lot of men. Understood, agreed. But she's not going to beat the fastest man in the world.
Yes.
The best basketball player, best female basketball player in the world is not going to beat LeBron James. It's just not going to happen. There are, again, physiological differences. And, so to me, you have to draw the line and listen, there are biology. You are either male or female. And even if you do make the ultimate commitment and get the parts changed that need to be changed to make you male or female, you're still born with the inherent physiology of whatever sex you were. And if you are a male, born a male, with those characteristics, you still have that physical advantage over females. And it is not a fair competition to have somebody who was born male competing against females. And, if you want to have, one of my favorite things, and off topic, but bear with me, I'm going to try to bring it back around. But one of my favorite things for college wrestling for a long time was the fact that they had Division I, II, and III wrestlers compete in the Division I championship. So the Division II and III championships were held, I forget now if it was a week or 2 weeks before the Division I championships, and the champions of Division II and III were always invited and came to the Division I tournament. And it was always cool because you could say at the end of the day, and very rarely, Carlton Hassel League is the famous example of somebody that won a Division I title. So,
was there others?
But
I don't think I ever asked you that.
Yeah, I think there was one other. I don't know if there were other champions. There were at least another All-American.
Sorry.
No, and so if you want to have a quote-unquote ultimate state championship or something where you have all of the boys and the girls and transgender together, that's fine. But you're not discriminating. The thing that is bothering me is the idea that you are discriminating against somebody if you're not letting them compete where they want to compete. That's not discrimination. For example, if I am and again, it's not the same, and I get it, but if I'm in a what is it? I think in Pennsylvania now we have six divisions, right, for football. If I'm a division, I'm playing at a Division III school, and we're really good, and we know we can beat the Division IV team in our area or all of the teams in our area, and we want to compete in the Division IV championships, I mean, you can do that. You can move up a division before the season starts, but you can't do it during the season. And there is a reason that you can't drop down. You can move up. And again, if a female wants to, become a male, whatever's involved there, to whatever degree they want to commit to it, and they want to compete with the men, I mean, God bless them. And sure. But to have the boys compete against the girls, and I'm talking again, biologically born males, compete against females, you are not creating a fair playing field. And it may be that all of the individuals that are doing that are earnest and committed to the lifestyle, as you were saying, but it opens the door, right? I mean, you could easily, right? I'm going to go. I want to go. I want to win some championships, and I'm the fifth best male in the school. I'm never going to do it. Well, so what? You cannot determine, right? That you can't have the PIAA saying, "Well, no, you haven't been committed long enough to this lifestyle, or you haven't done this, or this." I mean, we can't go down that path, in my humble opinion.
Your analogy was spot on, but I'll explain it a little bit better. You have some 3A teams that can beat 5A teams. Those 3A teams are not going to beat the best 5A teams.
Maybe once in a blue moon, you get a test, but I don't. Yeah, 99% of the time,
you can beat some of them, but you're not going to compete. You could be a really good team as a 2A or 3A, and then want to go against the big 5 and 6As, and that's fine. But in the long, it's not going to happen in the long run. You beat some of them, you're not going to beat all of them. That's sort of the same situation with the female or the males going down and playing female sports. It's like, okay, well, some females can beat males. They're not going to beat the best males. And it's not going to, and then some lesser males could beat a lot of the best females. And that's probably what's going to happen, and just stupid. But we've been dealing with this, I mean, it goes back, 20-some years of, getting women to play in men's sports. I remember growing up, we had a little girl wanted to play a little league with us, and there was a lawsuit and all that. She ended up playing with us, but then it was like, okay, well, put the shoe on the other foot. Are boys allowed to go play in the softball league? No, it's not. But then this is the double standards, and I just don't. I'll never understand it. Now we're okay with the double standards, and it's just like it's just so far right, so far left. I mean, we're all just stuck in the freaking middle, brother.
Yeah, and here's at the end of the day, this goes back to the discussions that have been had with, if you want to join the fire company or the police or the military, as long as the standards are being met, yes, I don't. It doesn't matter, who you are, what your background is, but the minute that you are lowering the standard, well, hey, we don't need. And whatever, I mean, whatever the standard needs to be to allow for safe carrying out of the missions of whatever it is. And I don't know what those standards are. I don't get paid to figure that stuff out. But I don't want the standards being lowered to accommodate any individual, right? That's not in those situations where you're talking literally life and death type of situations. The training has to be the training. And again, if you can meet it, fine. I have absolutely no problem. And it's the same thing. Again, if a female baseball player is the best, and it gets a little more tricky because some of the stuff is subjective, right? I mean, on the track, whoever wins the 100 meters, I mean, you're either the fastest or you're not, right? Like that's clear cut. Yep. Who's the better shortstop? Subjective. It may be readily apparent to some, but in other cases, again, it may be, well, man, this guy's a little bit better fielding. This guy's a little bit better hitting. I mean, I don't know. How are we going to pick? So, but if a female is the best shortstop or the best, whatever position in baseball, man, I have no problem. Same thing like with the kicker in football. If that's the best kicker on your campus, absolutely, for crying out loud, get her out there and have her kick. Now, if somebody else is kicking more consistently, longer distances, whatever, then that's where again you may create an issue.
There's going to be some college out there who's going to go with an all-male female team. I mean, and just think about that and just be like, oh, we're the first all-male college soccer team, and they're just out there dirting people and destroying female teams. And
again, there's just
so much that could happen.
You've just got to recognize that there are, in fact, physiological differences. I mean, at the end of the day, and that's just reality. That's the basis of it. It's not hatred for anybody. It's not wanting anybody to not compete. But even if you are identifying as a female elsewhere, again, if you were born a biological male, there just are inherent athletic advantages you have, and in my opinion, you ought not be competing again on a regular basis against females. If you want to have an extra race or whatever, that's fine. But there needs to be in my opinion, a clear, this is the girls' championship, a clear, this is the boys' championship. And again, if there are other individuals that want to compete in one or the other, I don't know, maybe set up something that's separate. But it's just not, it is not fair to the girls who were born female to have to compete against boys. Again, biological.
Is this a national thing, a Pennsylvania thing, a collegiate
It's a national thing. More and more, most high school organizations now are having to at least, explain how they're handling it. And different states are handling it differently, not surprising.
Think about it. I mean, why do you have a men's and women's Boston Marathon? Has a woman ever beat the best woman ever beat the best male in a marathon? It's not physiologically the same.
It's different. I mean, it's not even
the politics in the sports. That's the problem.
And again, to some degree, it's probably inevitable.
Shenanigans,
right? But again, in this case, I just think I think we ought to be able to deal with realities and understand advantages. And that's not to say, again, there could be transgender women who are not athletically gifted and are not going out and dominating. But the point is, you're opening the door for that opportunity to occur. And I just don't think that opportunity should be granted. And again, just my 2 cents. A lot of people are weighing in with a lot of different opinions about that throughout the country. And again, we're seeing different associations handle it differently. I'm just telling you, if I was, and I just have a nearly 6-year-old son, so I can't directly relate. But I'm telling you, if I had a daughter who finished as the silver medalist in the state championships and lost to somebody who was born male in the girls, 800 championships, I would be more than a little miffed. That's not because that's just not. It's not a fair representation of who the girls champion in the state should be. In again, my humble opinion, but I suspect we're going to have more states than not that will allow this. And I will be curious to see as we move forward, because I think both sides of every political issue always takes the extreme. Wow, we're just going to have nothing but biologically born males dominating these races. I don't think. I mean, I think most kids in high school are comfortable with whatever sex they were, whatever gender they were born into, and don't want to create the waves that this would create. Do I think you're going to have an individual or some individuals over the course of time who are just absolutely going to take advantage of this and make a mockery? I absolutely do, 100%. But I don't think it's going to be widespread. I don't think it's going to be the norm. I do think most people that are claiming to be transgender, especially in high school, right? That's these days that's a tough road. So I don't think it's something that many, if any, folks are doing lightly. And it's not that you're trying to add or I'm trying to add to a difficult situation. I think at some point you've got to confront and recognize the physical realities of the differences involved here and try to set it up in as fair a manner as you can. And again, just one person's opinion.
True that.
There's a lot of different opinions out there on this particular issue. I understand. A couple of things, Goon, just to finish up today. Penn State women's volleyball, terrific effort against Texas. That third set was obviously the difference maker. Could have gone either way. Hats off to Texas prevailing. But a terrific effort by Russ Rose's squad.
In a weird.
And and I think rightfully need to be holding the heads up high and feeling like bigger and better things are just around the corner for that program.
Soccer program had a hell of a weekend.
Both soccer teams are phenomenal. Tough weekend for Penn State baseball. What's that? Go ahead.
Tough out for the girls, the women
Yes.
against Iowa, but they're both in the tournament, so stranger things have happened, man. I like it there, but I have always said, like, a team like Duke or North Carolina, like 10, 15 years ago, when the ACC was like really, really dominant. I always remember watching those tournaments and like whoever won the tournament, you're like, oh, they're going to be they're the head dog going into the finals, into the big tournament.
Yeah,
you're beat up, man.
Yeah,
so it's not a bad thing. The women's team lost in the semifinals, and I think they actually came out and said that you know what, it humbled them a little bit, put them, okay, we're not, you know, we are beatable, so they'll work on that. They'll play that much harder. So, I mean, don't be surprised if they run it, man.
Yeah, and listen, Erica Dahlbach is just, there's a lot of really good coaches on this campus, and obviously, Kale is extraordinary. But boy, I'm telling you, what she has put together with that program and the caliber of kid, not just soccer player, but the caliber of person that they're producing consistently.
Could not agree with you more.
Is right up there with Kale and whoever you think the best coaches at Penn State are. It's just, it really is impressive.
Kale wants to go at me at soccer,
but she's been able to build and the success that they've been able to sustain here. I'm with you. It's one of those things too. I feel like, anytime, and I've seen it with the wrestling program. When Penn State finishes second at the Big Ten tournament, it's like, it's no big deal. Our focus is on the NCAA tournament. If you win the Big Ten tournaments, this is the launching pad. This is exactly. So, I mean, you have to play that game, no matter what you do. But the reality is, the NCAA tournament is a fresh start, and we've seen it plenty of times, right, with basketball, where a team loses, semifinal, even quarterfinals, and then gets into the Final Four, goes on and wins a national title.
The thing with Erica and Kale, with their respect for sports, is they're the hunter.
Yeah,
they have the bullseyes on their backs, and they've been hunting for the last 5 to 10 years, and they're still consistently doing what they're doing. That's great.
Yeah, I will say with women's volleyball too that the overall caliber of play is really incredible. I mean, the Big Ten obviously.
5 out of 16 Sweet 16 teams
has been absolutely amazing, but the quality, how I think you kind of measure when a sport has quote unquote arrived. And listen, do I think college football has arrived, even though it's always Alabama and Clemson these years? Lately, yes. So I'm not saying that you can't get a team that goes on a great run and dominates for a while, but when you have a number of different teams at least contending, right, getting into the mix, and you're seeing that in women's volleyball. I mean, it used to always, it was like Stanford, when Penn State was dominating there and had the 4 national titles. I mean, it was Penn State, Stanford, Nebraska, and was it Florida, Texas sometime. I mean, but there was like 5 or 6 teams that you knew it was going to be one of those, 4 of those 6 in the final 4.
Sure.
And now, again, you're just seeing more really good programs. I mean, Minnesota's built a terrific program. Obviously, Penn State, Nebraska, Stanford, Texas, Florida, all still really good. But you have a lot more programs now that are really good and that can step up on a given night. And I think it's good for the sport. Because it obviously increases the interest when you have fans from 20 different teams thinking, my God, if we play this right, we could be in the Final 4 versus fans from 5 or 6 teams.
I know you got your wrestling background. There's been some amazing teams out there, but I just don't think we'll ever see what Russ had with women's volleyball when they didn't lose a set the whole season.
Yeah,
all 6 girls were first-team All-American ever starting. That's just unbelievable. You're never going to see that. I know that Jay Robb had 8 All-Americans one time without winning a national champion.
He had all 10, but he didn't have any national champions.
No, but it was just like, it was insane.
Yeah.
So Iowa has had that a few times, all guys to be an All-American, right?
No, they've never. Minnesota's the only team that had all 10.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that was
It's
something that I will tell you. I think I don't know if he'll openly, publicly say this, but that is an objective. Before Cal leaves, he would like to have a team with 10 All-Americans. Hopefully not 0 national champions like Minnesota, but 10 All-Americans.
That was one of my favorite conversations I had with Jay Robb in Cleveland a couple of years ago. I sat with him for like 45 minutes in a group, and I was just like, and then I get done, and that guy's pretty cool. I see him on TV all the time, and my buddy Austin was like, hey, look at his Wikipedia page. And I'm like, I had no idea the guy was like a freaking Vietnamese Green Beret Special Forces in Vietnam, and oh my goodness gracious.
He's pretty remarkable.
Yes, he is.
And another one who got narrative got started. My God, we're going to stick with it no matter what.
See how we worked our way around that?
Exactly right. Folks, we appreciate your tuning in today. We will be back on Thursday, airing live from 3 to 4. We will talk to you then. Until then, be good and be safe.
Lion Country Kia is offering exceptional deals on your new Kia during Kia's Command the Season event.
We have a nice selection on the 2021 Kia Sportage with various options and prices as low as $26,800, saving you $3,000. Or if you demand big power and towing capacity, slip into one of the 2021 Kia Sorrentos available on our lot, starting at $32,680.
Discover why Kia drivers throughout the area come to Lion Country Kia or visit online at lioncountrykia.com.
Quaker Steak and Lube is throwing open the garage doors and setting up the umbrellas. It's patio season. Come enjoy great food, drinks, and fun in the sun. There's always something happening at Quaker Steak and Lube, but we're really amping up our event calendars for our favorite time of year. Visit thelube.com to find out what's happening at your local Lube this season. Lunch, happy hour, dinner, or late night, indoors or outside, at Quaker Steak and Lube, you'll always find big flavors, friendly faces, and lots of fun.
I'm here with Keith, Goon, Conlon, and you've got a little trip you're cooking up for August. Tell us about it.
So we got 4 or 5 ex-football players, Shane Conlon, myself, Troy Drayton, Justin Krupakis, and Mike Maudie. We're going to go down to Barbados, leave from different airports, 5 days, 4 nights. We got to get our skills ready to go for the football season, so what better way to do it than down in Barbados?
People come along on this trip, what are they going to be doing down there?
Very laid-back atmosphere. We're going to have golfing trips, fishing trips, and then at night, the days are very, very chill, and then at nighttime there'll be cocktail parties and, old viewings of old football games from Penn State. You might be watching the 87 Fiesta Bowl, the 95 Rose Bowl, a private viewing, a viewing for all the people who are on the trip of Saving Your Roar, which is the 2012 team documentary. So the biggest thing is that it's 100% refundable. LionsLegendsTravels.com. Everything is on there. It's $19.95 a person. There's multiple airports, so check in.
Good stuff, Goon. Lions Legends Travel. Check it out.
He's not getting that car in there.
No, sir.
Hey, look at these two troublemakers.
Johnny, how are you?
Wicked car. Is that new?
Yeah, it's a Sonata. Let me park it.
Oh, you're not fitting your car in there.
Chris, stop being a smarty pants, all right? Look who's got Smart Park. Even Bruiser can park it. Just hit the clicker. I can park it anywhere.
Beaver Stadium?
Parked it.
Even the Jordan Center?
Parked it.
Even Medler Field?
Even Bruiser parked it.
Hey, you can't park there.
He's got Smart Pack.
Wicked smart.
Blaze Alexander Hyundai. It's wicked smart.